Sasha Banks is returning to wrestling, reportedly, potentially. Yeah, just we got some breaking news in today that has been making the rounds on Twitter that Sasha Banks is set for a non-WWE event in January. And I'm going to take a look at a Dylan O'Brien article on BetterSportsMedia.com, read it over. We'll go take a look at it and I'll give my thoughts and opinions as we go. But yeah, it looks like Sasha Banks is going to be turning up somewhere that's not WWE. Okay, like I said before, again, shout out Dylan O'Brien for publishing the article on BetterSportsMedia.com, as well as baseball, football, basketball. We got everything over here. There's a lot of hours going into making this website what it is, and we appreciate all the support that you guys have given us, especially even here on the YouTube channel as well. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and like the video if you guys do like what you see. Sasha Banks set for major non-WWE event in January. Sasha Banks' real name, Mercedes Renando, has been away from wrestling for some time now. It's been around half a year, which I think is absolutely crazy. A lot of stuff has been happening in the last 5-6 months of WWE, or just wrestling in general. It's been absolutely insane. But herself and Naomi haven't made a wrestling appearance since they walked out of WWE due to taping. WWE taping due to unhappiness with the way they were being booked as WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. That could be set to change in the near future. Yeah, I'm not even gonna hold you guys. The way that WWE was looking before Vince McMahon decided to retire and Triple H become the new head of creative WWE, it was just such a chore to even try to keep up with WWE, especially somebody who grew up in the ruthless aggression era of wrestling, in when WWE was kind of still at its peak. After the Attitude Era, and pretty much from ruthless aggression era going into the PG era, and just seeing how the product, I feel, at least to me, kind of started to decline. It was peaks and valleys to be a WWE fan throughout the years. I gravitated more towards NXT and the way Triple H was doing things, but just seeing how some people were just not being used to the best of their capabilities and not being able to make new stars. I feel like that was such an issue for WWE the last couple of years. And when they had their hands on new stars and even homegrown stars, they found a way to kind of just flop on a bunch of them. And I'm happy for Sasha and Naomi for kind of sticking up for themselves and actually knowing their worth and saying, yeah, we're not taking this. Then the time frame of the same month, more or less, that everything else started changing in WWE, which I thought was absolutely insane. 2022 has been a crazy year for wrestling for sure. PW Insider has stated that there are rumors Sasha Banks will be at Wrestle Kingdom 17 next month for New Japan Pro Wrestling. There's no information as to whether Sasha is set to wrestle or even make an appearance in front of a crowd, but it's by far the biggest news we have received regarding her future in wrestling. For those who don't know New Japan Pro Wrestling, from my understanding, they are the third biggest wrestling company in the world. Pretty much Wrestle Kingdom is New Japan Pro Wrestling's version of WrestleMania. So if Sasha was able to make an appearance or was planning on it, that what's better stage to do it? No matter where Sasha Banks pops up, it's going to be newsworthy, to say the least. It doesn't matter where she would turn up at. She's been out here living her best life away from wrestling. So if this report ends up to be true, it would be a huge loss for WWE. Sasha Banks is one of the pioneers of the women's revolution in WWE a few years back. I imagine Triple H will be putting in some hard work behind the scenes to try and keep Banks in WWE. Sasha Banks is an NXT legend and put up arguably the best match in NXT history against Bayley. Whichever company gets the opportunity to land her, they better hope they do not mess it up. I couldn't have said it better myself. Sasha Banks is up there as one of the greatest women wrestlers in the world right now. I feel her best work as a champion is when she had the NXT Women's Championship. Pretty much I was kind of growing up with NXT. Once I kind of found an alternative from the main roster. As I grew up, I kind of liked that more indie style of wrestling. And I started following ROH, and I started following Chikara wrestling, and a lot of the smaller indie promotions. And the fact that WWE had that alternative with NXT, it just allowed me to kind of fall in love with wrestling again. That was when I was also becoming more of a smarter fan and understanding that just because they play a character on the screen, that doesn't mean that these people are bad people. Because I know for the majority of Sasha's NXT run. She was a heel, or I feel if anything, she was the entirety of her NXT run. Really, she was a heel. Pretty much, I started gravitating just to wrestlers and characters that I did like. Sasha being one of them, because she's from my neck of the woods. She's from Boston. But just being able to say that I grew up with Sasha Banks as kind of like falling back in love with wrestling. I can at least say that I don't think WWE has done right by her. Messy booking and just bad decision after bad decision throughout her time there. I feel even through all that, the fact that people will still look at her as an all-time great talent is still absolutely insane. And I don't think that her best work is still yet to be accomplished. I think she still has a lot of good to offer the world of wrestling, whether it's in WWE or if she wants to try her craft somewhere else. But if you ask me, I think people are kind of blowing it out of proportion with seeing her pop up in All Elite Wrestling or even coming here in Wrestle Kingdom and stuff. For all we know, she's a free agent, so she can go and appear whenever she wants to, wherever she decides to go to, whether it's back to WWE, which I think is probably the most likely scenario. I feel, if you ask me, WWE cannot afford to lose somebody like Sasha Banks. Like, she's probably just entering her prime of her career. The amount of star power she would offer any promotion she goes to, I feel that's just too big of a loss that WWE can try to should even think about messing with. I don't blame her. I don't blame Sasha Banks and Naomi for leaving at all. And if the reports of what their booking was turning out to be, I think in all seriousness, any one of us would have probably did the same thing. If they tried so hard to make a title, a championship mean something with the women's tag team championships, well, I feel like they haven't been booked as prominently as some people may have liked. And the fact that they tried so hard to make the most of the situation, then to just be fed to Ronda Rousey and to kind of be diminish that prestige of the titles, if you want to say that. Sasha Banks deserves her flowers, and I feel if she were to go back to WWE, they need to right all the wrongs that have gone in her career. She needs that defining championship run that I feel she's still yet to have, even though I still think she's a generational talent and she's one of the best women's wrestlers that I've ever seen. Like, just to bring it all together, Triple H seeming to be a little bit more open with working with other companies, especially trying to undercut not New Japan, undercut AEW, trying to be the company that plays well with others. And Carl Anderson, who's a never openweight champion of New Japan. Shinsuke Nakamura is going to face the Great Muta for a Pro Wrestling Noah show. So by all means, it's newsworthy nevertheless, but it's just interesting to see how the next couple of months shape up. If you ask me, I would want Sasha Banks to go back to WWE, win the Women's Royal Rumble, and beat Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. The best any of us can do at the moment is just sit back and just see what happens come Wrestle Kingdom and just in the next few months, because 2022 has been a crazy year for wrestling, but 2023 is shaping up to be even crazier than 2022.